First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Nick Dodson. I'm a mindset coach and biohacker, human biologist, practitioner in evidence-based supplemental medicine. And I just want to just give a testimony, basically, in a nutshell. Most people who post on Facebook or Instagram are really bringing the best version of their self, because nobody wants to tell you about their second best, do they? Nobody wants to look bad on Instagram, do they? Nobody wants to look bad on YouTube, do they? But I think it's important to be very candid and open, and that's what this testimony is. So basically, it's not all about my achievements and the great things that I've done and what I can bring to the public and, you know, the passion that I have for my work. Be it all true, but this is about something that I went through more recently. Approximately, here we go, 6 weeks ago, I suffered an injury, and it was an injury. And it was fairly debilitating as well. The injury was to trap rhomboid, and it was a definite tear. Now you may think, how can I actually do that? And what you can have is a tear that's a lot of microtrauma, and the microtrauma goes into a protective phase, and it's a bit like the worst whiplash that you can imagine. So you would times that by 10 or 100, and it's not the neck area, it's the trap rhomboid area. Now, between the trap rhomboid area, you have nerves that come out from between C3 to C6, and these are supply routes. Long thoracic nerve that supplies lat dorsi, and that goes between the trap and the rhomboid. There's also a nerve route that passes off, which would go, what you would say, under your armpit. It goes into what they call quadrangular space, which passes out through, as I say, under the armpit, and it basically innervates the muscles of the arm. This splits into two from the radial nerve, and the upshot of this is that when I woke up, I had severe nerve pain and tingling in my hands, my arm. And it affected muscles. It affected the tricep muscle, the pec muscle, the lat muscle, and the pain were excruciating, like somebody'd set me on fire, literally. That, and like the worst ache you could imagine, to a 10. So the pain's so bad that you can't even hold a thought in your mind. You just want instant pain relief. I have somebody who works on my injuries now. I know I've been a physical therapist for 20 odd years, but I'm retired from that. So I have somebody who works on my injuries. So with maximum medication, I became mobile. So the pain went from a 10 down to about manageable, down to about a 7. And after a week, I presented at my therapist for him to do a treatment on me. Now I'm going to get straight to the point. This was debilitating. I'm 59. I've never really had anything like this in my life before. Trust me, I've had injuries. I've had lots of things that's happened. I understand and I know pain very well. I understand and I know adversity, and you build resilience in the face of adversity. But this was on a whole nother level. When you hear about Flex Wheeler's pain and Ronnie Coleman's pain, when you understand what nerve pain is and it hits a 10, when you can't even hold a thought in your mind, and you're not even thinking about coming out of this, you're thinking about surviving this very second that you're in. From second to second is how you live, and that's it. Now, my coping mechanism for this, the only way that you can do this is in the moment. You have to see through it. You're walking through it. It's like Psalm 23, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. So what I'm doing is I'm walking through it, and I'm focusing. It's like a tunnel, and I'm focusing on that light at the other side, and I can still breathe, and I'm focusing. And with this comes some science, because in doing so, what you do is close pain gates. When you sat up, you close pain gates. When you do this, you activate vagal nerve responses, and you start to close pain gates. And pain gates are a bit like traffic lights, where you're turning incoming signals that would just go straight down, you're turning them to red. So they're basically overridden by other things. And this is how you're able to manage your pain. And the point being is that everything that I teach as a coach, I put into practice. How would I rehabilitate myself? How would I do this? So I got a plan for how I would use painkillers and how I would use anti-inflammatories. And this went on a cycle, and the cycle had some rehabilitation on it, and the rehabilitation worked with my therapy, and I went through it and I pushed through it, and there was never a single doubt in my mind that I wasn't coming out of the other side 100%. Not one. Not one. So over the weeks, some days are worse than others. You can have 2 great weeks, and then you can have, 2 terrible days. And the temptation is to think that you've not come anywhere, you've taken 1 step forwards and 2 steps back. No, you haven't. What you've done is pushed it a little bit higher, and the inflammation has risen. But you have to measure it by small incremental measurements, like what's my range of movement increase, what's my ability now to endure over time, etc. So this has been my story for over 6 weeks, and in that time, not been able to train and not been able to eat either, being in so much pain that I couldn't eat. And so there's never been a time where I haven't been able to train for 6 weeks. There's been a time when I've been away from the gym, but I lose very little muscle as long as I eat. There's virtually, in 6 weeks, it might be possible for me to, if we're active and I didn't eat the same, it might be possible for me to lose maybe a pound, but usually I wouldn't lose anything over 6 or 8 weeks. But imagine that you can't eat and your nervous system is absolutely maxed out and you're in so much pain, you're exhausted by half the way through the day. You'll certainly lose some muscle then. But you don't focus on where you are, you focus on where you want to be. You see where you want to be. And you use every single moment that you've got while you are going through it to learn. You're thinking about, how can I bomb-proof myself so that this doesn't happen? And what is there to learn through this? If you want to throw it away as just something that happened in your life and you were glad to get it behind you, then so be it. But I have learned so much in this and through this. And it's made me think about other things. It's made me think about reasons. And it's made me look at things scientifically and logically. Not just philosophically, but logically and scientifically. And there's lots of things that I've learned through it. And what I probably might do is bring things over the weeks that I have learned from it. But one of the things I did value through this, and this is absolutely 100% scientifically proven, the value of prayer. Because prayer gives you an identity and you're not aimless in it, because you're moving towards the ends of what you are praying for. And that gives you some reason. And that basically reduces negative signals and closes pain gates. So that is all scientific, and that is a benefit, 100% benefit of prayer. And it worked, 100% for me, it worked. And now I'm at a stage where gym rehabilitation has begun. And I'm able to go to the gym. Some things I'm not able to do, but the inflammation's coming down very fast now, and the ability to train without pain, it's just mild discomfort, just extremely mild discomfort to discomfort. And to be able to do tasks around the house, still every morning has to be, this is for anybody who gets a condition or anything, in any pain, your morning regime should be, as you wake up, you're intentional in your thoughts. Your intention is to sit up and be pain-free. So whatever enters your mind, you're going to sit up. You've got 5 seconds before your prefrontal cortex will give you lots of no's and lots of signals, because it's there to protect you. Why not to do things, not to venture out or anything else, and you lay in bed longer than you need to. So you do NASA launch, 5 to 1 and you're up. First thing is shower on as hot as you can bear it. That creates a counter-irritant effect. You allow this body part to warm up until the pain more or less goes and leaves it, and then you look at range of movement, and you look at whatever ranges of movement you can do. You do gentle stretching, gentle to mild stretching and ranges of movement. Then when you've done that, you have something to eat. Why? Because that also, while your digestive system's working, that's shutting pain gates as well, and it's allowing you to move. And when you eat, it stimulates endorphins. Things like this are stimulating endorphins and dopamine. And dopamine, natural dopamine, is a painkiller. Okay, because it goes serotonin and dopamine. A lack of dopamine is obviously addiction. And addictions come through when people get addicted to painkillers. That's because they've taken the painkillers, and the painkillers are SSRIs, and basically selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. So there's lack of serotonin there, so there's an enhanced pain pathway. No thank you, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on that. What I would like to do is, along the weeks, I'm going to bring you some natural anti-inflammatories, right? I'm going to showcase these. I'm going to tell you where to get them, and I'm going to tell you they 100% actually 100% work. I used the NSAIDs and I used the SSRIs, and I went on to natural anti-inflammatories. They take 24 to 48 hours to kick in fully, and when they work, it's a game changer. It is an absolute game changer. They're a lot better than the NSAIDs. The profound effects are a lot longer, and you're building up your own immune system, and guess what? You're rewiring your nervous system. Yeah, you're rewiring your nervous system. If you have ultra sensitivity in your nervous system, you'll be acutely aware of anything, and your nervous system will register it as pain. However, if you reset your nervous system, so it's not literally a rewiring, but it's a remodulation of your nervous system. So what would be registered as pain now isn't registered as pain. Your body can cope with this. Now you're going to say, but it's dangerous because I could have an injury without even realising it. No, because you become more acutely aware of stresses that are not just, the outcome is you're not in pain after it, right? And you're not drawn into a temptation, oh, I need to take this to manage it. You don't need to do that at all. A lot of things happen, a lot of things change. It's not just the signal modulation that changes. It's also a lot of things actually do change. You're able to contract a muscle better as well, and you're able to feel more of that contraction in the muscle. But I'll share these with you later on another video, but I'm not going to share it now. And I'll share with you other tips and things that I've learnt over these 6 to 8 weeks from the nutrition, the supplementation, and also exercises that really helped as well. And not just stretch, also contraction with stretch, and why it works better in this way than just plain stretching. And also identification of what you've actually done, because a lot of you will just go to your doctors, and your doctors will just give you painkillers, and he'll send you for a bit of physio, and basically that's it, you're dismissed. Well, I would say that that's not a good thing to do. I would say find yourself a good therapist, somebody who has got a very good arsenal of what they can work with and a very good knowledge backup. I would say look at that, and somebody who's not just into the therapy, who's into the analgesia and the rehabilitation, and somebody who you can work with on your rehabilitation. Number 2, look on YouTube and search YouTube for rehabilitation videos. Look at people who've usually got a good library of videos who work in a particular area. You can find some of these on Insta as well, right? And look at these and just go, like, do I identify with any of these? And build yourself a library then. You save these videos and build yourself a library for what you might need in future. But you can follow these people also. The people who are bringing natural supplementation, like myself, biohacking, somebody who works in supplement science, as I said, like myself, I'm going to bring you these tips and these things, and also eating as well. The things that you like to eat aren't always the things that are best for you to eat, and the things that you're told that are really good for you quite often aren't really good for you. We're finding that these days the things that we've been told that are the worst for us are actually the things that are the best for us. I'm going to debunk a lot of stuff along the weeks, and I'm going to bring you what is actually better for you. So in everything that's happened to me, it's not been a bad thing. I look at the good things and what's come out of it, and it basically makes me more aware of the fact that I am fallible, because sometimes you tend to think there's a certain infallibility about yourself. I am invincible, and sometimes you need to be reminded that you're not, and sometimes it's time to slow down. But 100%, I've learned in the past that I've recovered from injuries 100% to be absolutely bomb-proof and never got injured in that same way again. And now that has been a massive asset. So this is going to be something else that's going to be a massive asset, and something that I can actually share, that I'm going to be able to share with people in future. And I'm sharing this with you now. This is just my journey, and I'm walking through it. So I'm glad that you could join me on it, and I hope that the things that I've said are helpful to you. Just a testimony, but again, I hope it's helped.